What's up, guys? So I am here in my new office. Well, my new room, I guess. There's my door I had custom made. Dude, you know how hard it was to get a door made like that? You know what finally did it? I actually got a funny story. So remember, my desk used to be over there. It was a different desk. I ended up getting that, which we already filled with a sprinkler manager. And so I used to sit next to Tara, my office girl. She's not here right now. I'm going to start filming with some of these people in here. And then my other garden manager, this is her desk. And then the other garden manager's desk is right there with the stool. Anyway, so what happened was I used to sit there and I would always bug Tara, because Tara's the main office person. So whenever the phone rings, she's usually the first person to answer it. And so sometimes when it's slow and there's nothing to do here, I'll critique her a little bit, So she'll answer the phone, and anyway, she hangs up, and then I'm like, hey, so next time you answer the phone, why don't you do this, And she's like, I thought you were moving into that office. I thought you were moving from there, moving into the other office so I could stop bugging her, And I said, well, I would move into my own office if I had a door, because I've been trying to get this door made, because I don't want to, there's no windows here, It's like, no windows. So I don't want to just be in my office and close the door. And I don't want to have it open all the time either. So I've called I went to Angie's List, because usually when you go to Angie's List and you're looking for a service provider, usually you find the best people. They usually charge the most, but they always get whatever you want done. So I called every place and nobody made Dutch doors. It's like, I couldn't believe that. Dude, all I want is a Dutch door. How is that so hard? Apparently, it's really hard, and nobody does it. One guy finally gave me a quote. One guy did give me a quote, but he was going to charge me $1,500. That included painting it. And I'm like, dude, I'm not paying $1,500 for a cheap door like this. I mean, it's the same door. This is the same door that was here. And it's like super cheap wood, Like nothing special. I'm not paying $1,500 for you to just cut it, Anyway, so if I don't want to pay for it, I'm not going to get it done, right? So it's sat not being done since my last video. Remember when I told you I wanted to do it? That's how long it's been. Anyway, so back to the story. Tara was like, I thought you were moving into your own office. And I was like, I am, but I can't get this door done. So I guess I can't move into my own office until I get a door, right? So she called her dad. She literally picked up the phone, said, Dad, I need you to come to my work and make Freddie a Dutch door. He was here in like 20 minutes. He measured it. He took the door. And then I went on a trip with the family for a week. When I came back, my door was done. Painted, done. And then I had no choice, but I had to move into my office at that point, because I already told Tara that was what was stopping me, was that I didn't have my door. I love it. I can have the door closed, so people, like some of the crews, when they come in from their shift or just in the day, they got muddy feet, Hey, I know where we work. We've got muddy feet. I understand that, but I hate vacuum. I've got to vacuum this room. This isn't even that bad today. You see a little bit of dirt there? It's not even that bad. Today's not bad because it's the slowest day. Plus, half the crew is still out there. It's Friday. And so, but if I'm going to have my own office, I don't want to keep vacuuming it. But this way, I can have the bottom door closed, and they don't open the door on me. They just tell me what they need while I'm at my desk. And while I'm at my desk, I can still talk to Tara because let me turn this around. I don't know if you could see her, but I can say, hey, who was that on that phone? Hey, did you take care of that email that just came in? Hey, will you get me a Diet Coke? You know, I can still do all that. So it's all good. Anyway, the season is still going strong. If you would ask me last year, I would say we were still pretty busy during this time, middle of August. But about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, this would have been the slowest time of my life. I remember always thinking August was really slow. I even think last year was pretty slow, if you think about it. I think last year is when I realized I wasn't going to hit a goal, which I ended up only being about 50 or 60, no, 60, about 60,000 short of my goal. But I remember it was middle of August. Remember when I was like, dude, I'm so upset that I didn't push harder. I can't say that this year. I've actually pushed as hard as I can. I'm still pushing. I'm still doing really uncomfortable jobs just because I know it's necessary. When I say uncomfortable, I really shouldn't say that because we're actually handling bigger jobs than ever before for way more money, and we're doing it like naturally. So what I mean is we're now installing landscapes, which we've never done. But because I have a landscape designer, so this garden manager, which she's not here right now, is a landscape designer by school, education. She's got a certificate. And anyway, so she's been doing professional landscape designs for about two and a half years. And she's also been the garden manager for longer than that here for me. And so she's had the garden guys do various jobs throughout all these years, right? So laying down flagstone, putting down metal edging, laying rock, building gardens, making gardens, planting, all the things that are in her design. So actually, when she first started, she used to do bigger designs because that was what the customers wanted, right? She was like, what do you want? And they're like, I want a landscape design. Okay, what kind of features do you want? And they'd list off all the things she wants. For instance, paver patios, water features, fireplaces, waterfalls, whatever you could think of, at the time, and then she'd make her designs. But as she started being more tied to keeping our guys busy, she started changing her designs a little bit. And so when a customer calls for a design, she says, we do designs, but we do them with the thought that we are going to install it. So there are certain things that I don't do a design for. So she won't do designs for water features, for pools, and for things like that. Whatever our guys can't do, she lets them know up front that her designs will only include things that we are capable of doing. And customers actually appreciate that and love that. So, about, how long ago was it? I'm leaning on my door. I love it. So earlier this year, it was probably late spring. I was just hanging out in my on my couch, and I got an alert that an estimate got accepted. So I opened it and I saw that it was for $15,000. Actually, at the time it was $11,000, but we ended up doing more work there, so it ended up being 15. So the estimate came through for $11,000. And And I was like, what the heck is this, you know? I started getting nervous, like, what could that be? Like, at that time, the most estimates we would get were like, $5,000, and that was for like cleanup with a bunch of mulch or bark or rocks, and that was it. But to see one that was $11,000, I was really thinking something was wrong, and I remember thinking like, "Ooh, what's going on? What is this?" So I opened it, and it was for. It had the design on there. It had installing rocks and curbing and all these things, and I'm just like, okay. I'm going to talk to Rachel when I come into work tomorrow. So first thing I come in to work, and I just looked at Rachel, and she said, "Don't worry." She knew exactly what was on my mind. She said, "Don't worry, we got this. I got it all handled. We're going to do this, no problem." And I said, "Well, I'm glad to hear that, but walk me through it." Anyway, she walked me through it. And then I realized it was all stuff that we've always been doing. It's just on a bigger scale, It just was on a bigger scale. It's the best way I could explain it. And I was just like, yeah, we've got the manpower. We can totally do this. Like, okay. But I was like, it's still on you. Like, this is your project. I don't want to hear one single complaint from the customer. If she complains, it's on you. Like, you deal with it from start to finish. I don't want to deal with one thing with this customer. And she said, "No problem. I got it. I've got this." And I was just, okay. Anyway, we started getting into it. It turns out that sprinklers wasn't in the picture for this job at all for some reason. Because at the time, I think Rachel was unsure if we were going to do sprinklers, or at least at that scale. So anyway, at some point, the homeowner thought she was going to have to go look out elsewhere to get the sprinkler system set up and everything. But I said, we can do that. And we ended up, it ended up being a huge sprinkler. It was doing a full front yard install, plus we had to fix all kinds of stuff in the backyard just to get the front yard working. All the wiring was messed up, so we had to put new wiring from the timer to all the valves. It was kind of a big job just to get the front yard installed. And so that ended up being the difference to the $15,000 on that job. So once we did that, it just kind of opened up all our eyes here, that we could get into installing landscapes, and we're not doing anything different. We're just staying at the job a little bit longer. It's all it ended up happening. Anyway, it's just, so we've kind of gotten to that. That's not our biggest service. It's just one of the reasons why I said I was getting a little uncomfortable doing some jobs. We just completed another one just like that. Actually, we didn't complete it. We're more than halfway. We're more than halfway on the project. So, and it's going really smoothly. It's going great. And that job is coming out to be about as much, if not more, than that one. But anyway, those are just two examples. But so that's the gardening, what ended up happening with the gardening, and why we're doing so much better with gardening. So this year, I knew we were going to be busy with gardens. So during the winter, we hired a second garden manager, and she has been amazing. If you are like our Facebook page, or if you're on our Facebook page, you might have seen her. Her name's Bronte. She does a lot of little weekend tips kind of things, little video clips. Amazing. So Bronte, Rachel, and then we've got Justin, who's not here, but he has taken over the sprinkler management, and we're basically doing the same with sprinklers now. We're doing designs for installs, and we've only done two sprinkler full installs, but but our repairs, I mean, just keep somebody being able to go to the jobs, look at it, talk to the homeowner, and dispatch it. So at one point we had three. We had Justin managing, who knows sprinklers and can totally go out there and be a sprinkler tech, and then three others. One of my sprinkler tech just quit yesterday for no reason. Well, he quit. Like he was supposed to be at work. I said, "Hey, you're 5 minutes late. Where are you? You gonna be here?" And he said, "Hey, I'm quitting." That was his way of quitting to me. I thought the sprinkler guys were a little more professional than that, but I guess when you're in this industry, I mean, you can't get away from that kind of thing, man. It's just there. I know Mo guys have been quitting like that on me for years. Actually, garden guys are the only ones that have never really quit on me. I think they're the ones that value the having help the most here, because some of these sprinkler jobs you could do alone. The mowing usually got one other guy with you, but the gardens, you can't do it by yourself. I don't think we've sent a garden guy by himself this whole year, because that's just very laborious, very, very labor intensive type of work. So I can't believe I'm talking this long. I'm sorry. Anyway, so sprinklers has been phenomenal. So I've recently ranked all my divisions with revenue and which one's the highest to the lowest. So here it goes. My highest revenue service, what do you think it is? Okay, I'll tell you. I'm going to give you a second to think about it. So here are the service categories: garden work, mowing, sprinkler work, fertilizing, and pest control. I put those two together. And I've got a different category. It's not really, it's a service more than it is a division. It's the spring wake-up packages, power raking, aeration kind of thing, and overseeding. So those are, five different profit revenues, I'll call them. Gardens, mowing, sprinklers, fertilizing, spring wake-up package. And I almost gave you the order right there. So here's the order. Highest revenue is garden work. That does somewhere in the neighborhood of, I actually got a paperwork here because I stare at it every day. I don't know why, but I use it as motivation. So garden work is 32% of the total revenue that we do. That includes anything to do with that the garden crew does. That even includes mowing, like first time mows. So I don't want you to separate, I don't separate the actual services. I separate what the different divisions actually do. So garden work, those guys prune shrubs, clean gardens, put down bark, mulch, all that kind of stuff. But they also do first time mows. I separate the first time mows with the regular weekly and bi-weekly mows because they usually require a lot more time because of how long the grass is. And especially in the springtime, they can be like, the grass sometimes like super high. So I actually have my garden guys do that because we can quote those jobs much higher and they require much more time. So like 5 hours for some garden jobs. We've even done a garden job this year that took the guys, 3 garden guys, to do in 12 hours. They worked on it for 12 hours. So we had to quote that one really high, and that was a great job. I love those jobs. So anyway, the garden crews do 32% of total revenue, which is really high. Mowing, close second. Mowing does 28%, and that's not first time mows, it's mowing, every week, every 2 weeks. Sometimes they'll do a first-time mow if whoever goes and looks at it says that it's really short, like they just mowed it last week, kind of thing. Yeah, by the way, we look at every single mow job before we quote it. We have, you know me, in the past I've even done videos where I just give them a quote over the phone. We don't do that anymore. We got burnt too many times with those first-time mows, and now it's just great. And that also gives whoever goes and looks at it the opportunity to look at the gardens and quote that, and look at the fertilizing situation, quote that, weeds, everything. So it's much better for us to do it that way. Third place is sprinklers. Now, sprinklers currently only does 12% of total revenue, which honestly, that one probably should be higher than the mowing. It should be somewhere in 28%, maybe even higher. But we got off to a rough start with that. We started the season doing sprinkler installs, something we started doing last year in the middle of the season. This year we had a full-time sprinkler tech, which we still do, but it was just one man, and we were basically doing hourly stuff, and so he was busy this whole year, but it only came out to about 12%. About 3 weeks ago, that's when I brought Justin inside from mowing, put him to sprinkler manager. We hired 2 more sprinkler techs. Actually, we've had Justin doing sprinklers for months now, I believe. And then we hired a third sprinkler guy, saying like 2 or 3 months ago. So we had 3 sprinkler techs for about 3 months now, and we just hired one 2 weeks ago, and he's the one that quit. But when I brought Justin in, and I told him how I want him to quote jobs, we started doing much better. And so we got off to a slow start with the way that sprinkler work is running, but it was one of our newest services kind of thing. So, you know, we had to mess up a few times before we got it right. And I think we've got it right, and I see where we need to improve. I need to have a sprinkler van or transit or something with all the parts in there. Like that's the next thing I need to do. We're spending too much time going to the sprinkler store, getting parts, going back to the job, going back to the sprinkler store. I need all the parts in the truck, in the van. And we just can't do that with a truck. You'll just have parts everywhere. It's just unorganized. So anyway, that's third, sprinklers. Fourth is the service. I categorize a spring wake-up package on its own different division because everybody does it. The mow guys do it during the spring. The garden guys do it once the mow guys start mowing. So it's all hands on deck kind of service. It's like such a good service that everybody has to know how to do it because it's just one of our signature services. I mean, in the spring, that's what we are. We're the company that does the spring wake-up package, that does the power raking and aerating. I mean, that's just what we're known for. And in the spring and fall, that's coming up again. So that's why I got that categorized in its own different category because everybody does it. And so and whoever does it, it doesn't go onto their division. It goes onto the spring wake-up package division. So that was fourth. Fifth is fertilizing pest control. Again, just one of those services that could do better, but you need a lot of customers to make a lot of money in that division. A lot of customers. I think currently we have, last I checked, we have less than 200. And I went out and bought a truck. My setup, my fertilizer truck, I went out and built this year. Cost a lot of money. I'm super happy with the revenue it's brought in. But I just lost my FertTech. So I actually went out and sprayed today. I went out and did a couple lawn evaluations. And yeah, it was weird. I was out. Today was the first time I think I went out since last year's spring. So that was pretty cool. Not so much. I wish I would have had a sprinkler tech, but I don't, or a fertilizer tech, but I don't. I hired somebody yesterday to hopefully fill that spot, but they need to get a license. So next time they work, I'm going to have them start the process here in the office, and then have them set up an appointment to go take the test, and hopefully they'll pass and we can get off and running. It's been so hot lately that we don't really need to put herbicide inside our tank. So it's possible that I'll just fill it with fertilizer and train the person, because you don't need a license to just spray fertilizer without herbicide in it. If you got herbicide in it or pesticide in it, then you got to get a license. But if you're just spraying the fertilizer, you don't need one. So I may do that just to get this person trained right away while they're studying for the exam, so that when they take the test and pass, they can just go. Anyway, and then last place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's sixth position, or sixth place, is the snow division. And that's understandable. It's only a 2-month service, and for it's a 2-month service, and it's 8% of total revenue. Now that service goes into last year, because we're counting December. We're counting pre-sales from November, because I start selling services. Maybe it's December. I can't remember now. I think it's December. We start selling snow packages to push snow in the wintertime on December 1st. And so 4% of that 8%, so half of all sales for snow for me comes in December, if you can believe that. So I've had to, if you don't count December, it's only 4%. But if I say we got to count December, because we don't actually push the snow in December, and we're going to do that again. Maybe we will push snow, I don't know, but sales for that is in December. So that's in sixth place. So I basically categorized everything with revenue. By the way, I don't think I told you, the spring wake up package brought in 11%, fertilizing brought in 10%. So just in the spring, that's done more revenue than my one truck with one guy full-time spraying up to this point. Pretty crazy. That's why I tell you, when I'm known for spring wake-up package, I'm not kidding. We do a lot of that. And we're going to do the winter readies, which is just like the spring wake-up, but we blow out the sprinkler lines whenever it's time to do that at the end of the year. So that, no kidding, could possibly trump mowing. That would be nuts. That the spring wake up that we do pretty much 4 months out of the year could beat mowing. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it will, but I'm just saying that's how much power that service has. Anyway, I just kind of went off. I just felt like picking up my phone and giving you guys a check-in. So let me know how it's going. Anyway, talk to you later.